Hey, good evening. This is David Edwards, and I'm sitting here with my friend.
Damerlin Thompson.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. So, I ran into you a little while ago, and you said you were taking computer classes.
Yes.
Right? What were they again? What were you telling me?
Well, at the time, I was taking a class called Google Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning.
Okay.
It was to get a certificate in the class and, go on to get interviews for jobs and stuff like that. I've since finished that course.
Okay, good.
I haven't yet taken the certification exam, but in the meantime, I started another course, which is IT support, which is basically starting from the ground up.
Right.
And back into
Help desk kind of
Yeah.
job for that, when people are having problems with their computer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you like that artificial intelligence class? What did you learn that?
It was a tough one for me because it was taught in a way that I'm not used to, especially I consider myself like a programmer.
Okay.
And it had questions that had to do with, every test question that he gave, it was your client is asking for an artificial intelligence solution.
Okay.
And he's got these requirements, which of the four choices is going to meet his needs the best.
Right. Okay.
And our instructor told us that all of the answers are going to be correct. You just need to choose the best one. Me as a programmer, I'm used to right and wrong. Like
Okay.
this is mathematical equation is right or is wrong. And it took me, I don't know if I quite adjusted to it, but it threw me for a loop because I wasn't used to that kind of format of learning. And also the instructor was very loosey-goosey with the homework assignments.
Okay.
Like he really didn't have much as far as assignments. He would just say, well, we went over some tools today that Google uses. Just do some research when you get home. And I'm like, that's it? That's all you gotta do? Look at videos?
You need something more structured?
Yeah, like a book to follow or
Right.
something like that. We didn't really have that. So all the while in the course, I really should have taken it as it was given to me and kind of ran with it. But instead I just kind of said, okay, well, I guess I'll look up some Google videos or something like that. I really didn't take it as serious as I should have. Homework assignments just to, he's being loosey-goosey, so I'll just do whatever I can.
Without some structure of what you have to turn in, it's a little bit difficult to kind of fulfill whatever homework is. Yeah.
Right. We never got graded on anything we did in class. It's weird to me having that kind of learning structure.
Yeah, that is kind of okay. I can see that. I've taken a couple computer classes, and when you get a certificate from a Microsoft class and stuff, that those tests are very difficult and they're structured the same way. Here's the situation, this is what you have, this is what the client needs, and every one of the answers has what you need. You just have to kind of now, it's a different level of learning rather than just saying, okay, if it's this, then this, if it's this, then this, and doing it by rote. You have to kind of analyze and evaluate, right?
Right, so you kind of have to know the tools a whole lot better than you, I guess, would if it were just like a true or a false question,
right?
Or add these two numbers up together kind of thing. You got to know like inside and out. Like, is this machine learning option? Is it code heavy? Is it easy for a newcomer to learn? Is it serverless? Is it, is it going to meet all the requirements that So you need to know like a whole lot of stuff for each tool.
Right.
And there's like a ton of tools. So it was a bit overwhelming. I didn't know where to really start.
Oh, okay.
And all that, kind of thing.
So yeah, all of a sudden when you're rushed into something after coming from a different discipline, you were a programmer. What languages did you?
Well, I went to school in Pittsburgh for mechanical engineering. I saw this video on PBS of this guy that was doing research on how to make a helicopter fly like a dragonfly. That is to go backwards and forwards, up, down, do all that type of stuff. I thought, wow, that's the coolest thing. Let me do mechanical engineering. So I went to school in Pittsburgh and took mechanical engineering, the introductory class. They had us at the end of the class create this train that had to do like certain properties or something like that. And I was just completely lost. I didn't know where to start with this train. Like, and it just didn't really stick with me. But while I was doing that, they give you, as one of the courses you need to finish, Introduction to Computer Science. So I took that and loved that and just switched my major and went into that. So I was doing pretty good, but I had some jobs outside, like that were in the university. Like they had some research going on with supercomputers. And I got on to a job with that. I wouldn't say I did supercomputer stuff, but I kind of helped out. And then there was another job where they were doing, I think it was to understand the speech. Speech recognition.
Yes, right.
So I kind of like that, but I kind of found that the jobs that they had us do, or jobs that I chose, were isolating. It was like you stuck in a room, cubicle by yourself, just typing away. Like the task they gave us was like usually a problem solver. Like you had this bug in this program, and you had to find it and figure out what the problem was. And so it was just me in my little cubicle typing away, not much interaction with other people. And I was like, is this what computer science is? I don't know if I want to do this. So I kind of tried to do it after I dropped out of college. I had a semester left. Everybody says, wow, you only had a semester left. You need to finish it. I don't know if I'm going to do that. But semester left, and I kind of did freelance work at this website called Rent-A-Coder. Rent-A-Coder?
Oh, right. Okay, so if they want somebody to do some coding, you bid on that job or something.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I did get some good experience. I mostly did web scraping, which is you have this website that has a whole lot of data on it, and you want to grab the data and put it in a CSV file, something database friendly.
Yes, right.
So that the client can do something with it, and you had to clean up any formatting mistakes or things like that, like
the data type and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And not everything came in like the same format. So, for example, it was residential addresses that I had to get. And sometimes they'd have a ST for the street. Sometimes they have the name pulled out.
Right.
And kind of format it so that it's all the
consistent
same.
So the data quality. Yeah.
And also, they may have for the apartment unit, they may have the number one, or they may have the actual one.
Spelled out. Okay.
Exactly. So stuff like that you had to adjust and handle. Sometimes you had missing fields that you had to, figure out what to do with. So
a lot of problem solving.
Yes.
In that. Okay. All right.
And so I did that, but I was competing with people all over the world.
Okay.
And I was, the pay was so low that I didn't feel like I was getting the bang for the buck.
Right.
So
Okay.
I kind of stopped doing that. Kind of left computer business altogether and stayed out the workforce for a while. When I came back into the workforce, it was working at Walmart.
Okay.
So it was like completely
Customer
opposite.
service and retail. Yeah.
And the thing I liked about that was it was teamwork oriented. Like
Okay.
you felt like you were part of a team, you had to get something done. Because I worked in the back room where you had to unload the truck, and so you had to be fast.
Right.
While the freight is coming along the little rollers, you got to pick out whichever ones belong to your department, set them aside. I also did working in the back room bidding.
Right.
So a whole lot of stuff that was not computer science.
Okay.
And I was cool with that, but then I had a heart issue,
Okay.
which made it so that I couldn't do manual labor
hard
anymore.
work. Oh man.
So then I decided, well, let me go back to
Computer science.
I have some coping skills that I have now that I didn't have before to deal with the isolation and whatnot. And also learn that, you know, a lot of the jobs aren't the same. They're
Right.
not the same isolating in your cubicle type thing.
From listening to other people who are programmers, they're part of a team and they have to work as a team on a project or a website or a software program that has different functionalities. And, okay. So yeah, I worked in IT, so I'm familiar with the source control that you pull the code down and work on it and then save it as a version and then put it back up and sort of. Okay.
Right.
So tell me about that. How long were you in Pittsburgh? Was it?
I was in for I think 6 years.
Okay. What did you do? What did you do in Pittsburgh outside of going to school? What were outside of being a student
I
there?
played football for a couple of years.
Okay. So you're a Steelers fan still, or not really?
No, I wasn't a Steelers fan. I wasn't like any fan of a certain team.
Okay.
Because I was from New Jersey.
Oh.
New Jersey didn't really have a team.
Right. Okay.
So, and I didn't feel like rooting for New York. New York people were just their own bag of.
Know how that goes. Yeah. Okay.
You from New York?
No, but
Okay.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. So football then on the weekends and the like for you?
Well, during the week.
During the week too? Okay.
Yeah. But then I had developed cancer, and I had to sit out. I think it was for a semester at the very least, if not a year. So had to deal with that, and then came back and tried to do football, but then. And at the same time, my studies were getting harder and harder. Had to devote more time to it.
Right.
So I kind of said after the second year, I don't know if I want to keep playing football. So
Right.
I
Okay.
quit doing it.
Darn. So cancer and heart issues. That must be stressful. It's terrible. That. Oh, how do you navigate those health? What happened there?
Well, I was kind of happily. What's the word I'm looking for? When you don't know what the problem is, like you're clueless to the issue.
Oblivious.
Oblivious to it, right? Because I didn't really know much about cancer at the time. I was young.
Right.
Nobody in my family ever talked about having cancer or anything like that.
Oh man.
When my people passed away, it was usually a heart issue.
Right.
That they passed away from. My grandmother passed away from a heart issue, and my mother did later on. But no, there was no talk of cancer at all. The only time I heard cancer was on TV.
Right, exactly.
And even then, it wasn't too much about cancer.
So how did you get, what was going on then? How were you sick all the time, or were you at a doctor's office?
I was, there was a couple of things going on. One was I was having night sweats.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that odd that I kept sweating at night. I was like, what's going on? And also I had a a lump or two in my neck.
Okay.
And that's what made me go see the doctor, was to see what the thing was with these lumps.
Okay.
And then they did a biopsy and found out it was Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's. I can't remember whether it was Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's.
Okay.
But it was a lymphoma cancer.
Oh man, how old were you then?
I think 20.
Okay.
20.
So you had treatment then for that?
I had treatment. It started with chemotherapy.
Right.
And it was doing pretty good. But then all of a sudden my face started blowing up with some type of tumor. And they decided to do radiation treatment.
Right.
And even then, that didn't do it. So they decided to do stem cell replacement.
Oh.
That's when they take your own stem cells out of your body, they store it, then they hit you with a very, very high dose of chemotherapy.
Okay.
And then replace your stem cells so that they're not damaged by the chemotherapy.
Oh, right. Okay, so they keep it isolated for you. Okay. So would you say, okay, so you're still here, you're cancer free for how long then?
About 30 years.
30 years? Okay, well that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
What keeps you going then? Having all these health issues, what makes you get up in the morning and keep studying and working towards that?
I kind of have this mantra that I am doing this to better myself and those that I care about.
Okay.
And also to never be homeless again.
Right. Okay.
Never be homeless again.
All right.
Because this is not the first go round of me being homeless.
Right. Okay.
So
you're looking then for employment, and you're going to be working soon. That you have?
that's fingers crossed.
Okay.
That's the
All
thing.
right. Okay.
Once I get done with this IT support class,
Okay.
I hope to have a job after that.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right.
The artificial intelligence was kind of a in-between task that I did
Okay.
to fill the time instead of just sitting on my hands and
Right.
not learning anything. They had opportunity to learn this artificial intelligence thing and wanted to know what it was all about. So
Okay.
took the class.
So what did you learn in the class that you wouldn't have figured fell into that artificial intelligence space? What kind of things did you, not about the class, but what kind of concepts or what artificial intelligence can do? What did you learn that you didn't expect to learn?
I was kind of surprised at how much it is already being used. I know a couple of months ago when I was learning to program in Python,
Okay.
right? They have this tool that you can use where it's a editor for your program file, so you can write the code, and it's in colorful font and everything's nice and clear. And what they would do was they would suggest the next line of code based on the code that you already put in. So I write a line of code, and then the AI would be like, well, how about this line? I was like, whoa, what in the world? So that's my first experience with that type of artificial intelligence.
Did you feel like it was reading your mind or anything like that?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I wish we had this when I was, learning all those languages back then.
Right, exactly. I've looked at some of the things, and I came across a website that says how to fool artificial intelligence or how to get by or tell if you're doing that. Did you learn any of those tricks at all?
No, we were more concentrated on the good quality of the artificial intelligence and how to get the best out of it. So we didn't really focus on that. But we did kind of go through some case studies that were interesting. Like we were looking at taxi data in Chicago. So they would have where you started at, where you ended at, how much money was the fare, how much did you pay in
gratuity tips. Okay.
How much did you pay as far as tolls, stuff like that, and you crunch the data. And we found some odd numbers, like there would be people that tipped $2,000, and the instructor was telling us, oh yeah, I mean you have celebrities like Shaq come to Atlanta and he'll tip, the taxi driver such and such amount of money, so that could kind of throw off your data, because you're supposed to be. We had the task of predicting what the average tax fare would be, so that people would be informed, hey, if you're taking this trip, this is probably how much you're gonna pay.
If you're going from the downtown to Michigan Avenue or Water Tower Place. Right.
So it was kind of that type of trouble that would come into play. That would throw off data. They call it what do they call it? I forget the name of it, but it's basically outside
an anomaly. Anomaly was that, or out?
That's not the word they use.
Okay. Outlier.
Outlier.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've there's an interesting book that I read by that title as well, Outliers. And
who was the author for that?
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes.
Have you? Yeah. If you get a chance, listen to it or read it. But I listened to it, and it was fascinating. It wasn't about computer programming, but it was explaining, and the case that Malcolm makes in all of his books, when he lays out what he finds and then tries to find a reason for why it is that way. He made a really good case for that. Why certain people are so successful in what they do. What is it about that? Sometimes it's an accident of birth. He's a chapter on the Canadian hockey teams and how the star players of every team were born in the first 3 months of whatever the school year happened to be. Because if the cutoff for the school year is January, and you're born in February, the rest of your classmates are pretty much almost a year younger than you. If you were born in November, you're almost a year younger than the person born in February. Really close. So you're a little older, you've grown a little bit more, and can respond at a young age, because as it goes, Canadians, I think, learn how to skate before they learn how to walk or talk, as far as that, because hockey is such a national sport. So given that year or that 3 month period of time where you're older and you're more you've grown a little bit more and things like that, you end up with a little bit more athletic ability than somebody a little younger, and you stand out more, so then the focus ends up being on that, and that's just the way it is. So that was a book called Outliers. I like that, and that's a very, very stick figure drawing summary of the chapter. It's fantastic, actually. It's a really interesting book to listen to. Okay, so what do you like? How long have you been in the Atlanta area?
Since about 2000.
Okay, what do you like about Atlanta?
I like I've never really been in a big city.
Okay.
I've been close to a big city. I'm from East Orange, New Jersey, and that's right next to Newark, New Jersey, which is pretty big.
Yeah. Okay.
But I never really, I went to Newark every once in a while. I went to New York City every once in a while.
Right.
But I didn't really live there. Here I'm living.
You're right
in a big
here.
city.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of like that. And it's not so big like New York, where it's like tons of people, a horde of people crossing the street at one time.
Yes, right.
Especially in Manhattan, areas like that. But it's still got a lot of opportunities for jobs.
Okay.
When I came, the rent was cheap. Now it's questionable. That's the rent.
Right.
So yeah, those were and the weather.
Any funny stories about Atlanta that you want to tell? Any kind of weird things, bump into anything? Anything funny happened to you?
One very odd thing. I was driving in a car with somebody I was part of some program, and they were taking us from one place to the next, and we had to pass through Stone Mountain.
Yep.
Stone Mountain area. And as we're driving, I see this bird that's walking across the street. It wasn't flying. It wasn't hopping like most birds do.
Right.
They don't really walk. They kind of hop.
Yep.
This thing was chucking it. I mean, going so fast. It made me stand up and say, "What in the world is that?" And then the driver said, "Oh, you don't know? That's a roadrunner."
Oh, okay.
And I said, "A roadrunner? That's a real thing? That's a real bird?" He's like, "Yeah." All I knew about a roadrunner was from the TV show.
Right.
With the roadrunner and the fox and everything.
Coyote? Yeah,
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
And all that type of stuff. So I was so shocked that was actually a real bird.
Actual bird?
Yeah, that runs real fast.
And then after that, an anvil kind of fell on the car, right? Is that what happened? Or you went off a cliff? Okay. All right. Well, D, is that your nickname, D?
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.